Hey. All right. I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope your day is going great. My day is going very well. Thank you, Lord. All right. Cool. Let's see. Go ahead and do me a favor. If you are on here, go ahead and share this feed. This is going to be a good. Hey. How we doing? How's everybody doing today? I hope you guys are having a really great day. I hope. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get into it. Tell me where you're logging on from. I want to see who I'm talking to today. Today's going to be really good. Get a pen and paper. Hey, Carolyn, get a pen and paper because we're going to get into some numbers. And it's really important as you are desiring and growing, whether you're a brand new real estate investor or desiring to become a real estate investor, the numbers matter. And right now, whether you're in or whether you're maybe not ready and you're getting ready, this is good practice, right? Because we know that we always want to be working on where we're headed, not where we are right now, but where we are headed, and getting that practice in is so important. So I want to make sure that you guys go ahead and share that information. Go ahead and get a pen and paper because we're going to go over some of these things to hopefully make it all make sense. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pray and then we'll jump right into it. Father, we bless you. We thank you. We honor you. We thank you for your plan. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for 2025. We thank you, Lord, that this will be the absolute best year of our lives. Lord, I pray that you bless our going in, bless our coming out, bless us in the city, bless us in the field, bless all of our assets and all that we are attached to. God, we declare the blessing is on it right now. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. All right, thanks again for jumping on here today. Do me a favor, like I said, go ahead and share this feed with somebody else. Text them, let them know that we're on. Right now, we've seen as we've gone through an inauguration, we've seen a lot of economic uncertainty, happening in the market right now. The stock market has been just getting blasted, taking a complete hit. But guess what? Those are all setups for opportunity. Right now is what I call a correction phase. There's a lot of correction happening. Interest rates are coming down, which is great for home buyers, or even if you're buying, an investment property. When those interest rates start coming down, that's like a really great place to actually start to buy. And one of my most favorite asset classes that we're going to be talking about today is real estate. Now, why is real estate one of my favorite asset classes? Well, first of all, real estate is one of those deals, honey, where it's like it's a long game. You're going to continue to increase in equity. You're going to continue to increase, if you're a landlord, price appreciation. For those of you that are renting right now, I prophesy you will not be renting long because you probably say, hey, my rent every single year goes up. Maybe you're blessed to get maybe 1 year, Kenichia, possibly where your rent doesn't go up. But for the most part, rent is going up anywhere from 2 to 5% every year, depending on what city you live in and how the market value and what's happening in that city. But for the most part, you can pretty much predict a rental increase of 2 to 5% every single year. And so what I want to do, my goal is to make sure that you become not just a homeowner, but you become an investor, right? Because when you can start to get that rent coming in every single every single month that rent is coming in, I promise you, you're going to start to see your overall portfolio, right? Your overall income begin to significantly increase, right? And so right now, it's always a good time to do a buy and flip and or a buy and hold. But I will tell you right now, and particularly buy and holds are really, I believe, where you want to be. You want to be in the buy and hold game. This is where you're going to own the property. So you've got equity on that property. And then also that property begins to do what we call cash flow. Do me a favor and put in the comments right now, cash flow. Come on. Put that in the comments right now. Put cash flow in the comments. Put cash flow in the comments. That's exactly where I want everybody to be, where cash is coming in every single month, because you have tenants that are coming in and they're paying that rent, paying that rent, paying that rent. That's right. Cash flow, Carolyn, cash flow. Cash flow is king. I want cash to flow whether or not you're working or not, right? Period. End of the story. I want cash flowing into your life, whether you're working or not. And this is the power of being a landlord, right? And then, of course, you also get an opportunity to make social impact where you can make sure that the property is being well maintained, that the toilets work, or your property manager will actually do that. You're not doing that. But do you know that there are a lot of landlords out there that I don't call them landlords, they're called slumlords. They just really don't care about the property. They don't care if the lighting is working. They don't care if the plumbing is working. They really just have not really shown any care for that property at all. So you being the landlord are going to do the right things with it. So not only do you have an opportunity to make financial impact, but you also have an opportunity to make financial and social impact. Now, I believe that over the next 5 years, we are definitely in the middle of seeing a great separation, an economic separation, you could almost say. There's an economic separation where people are either going to be rich or poor. Go ahead and put in the comments for me, I'm going to be rich, right? People are either going to be rich or poor, right? I always tell people it can either be the best of times or it can be the worst of times. But what you decide to do, the decisions that you make today determine whether or not what side of the fence you're actually on. And so it's very, very important that you put yourself in a position to become rich. One of the main ways that the wealthy becomes richer is that they own real estate, right? When you look at, if you just ask ChatGPT, how much real estate is in Jay-Z's portfolio? How much real estate is in Beyonce's portfolio? How much real estate is in Warren Buffett's portfolio? How much real estate is in Jeff Bezos' portfolio, Tim Cook, the list goes on. Almost all of them have about a 50%, minimum 50% real estate in their overall portfolio. Why did they choose real estate? Why wasn't it all in the stock market? Why wasn't it all in crypto? Why wasn't it all in gold and silver? Why wasn't it all in oil, right? And cotton? Well, they all know that through all market volatility, that between all market volatility, at the end of the day, real estate is going to be one of those things that continues to produce year after year after year. And so I really want everybody in a position to be able to own their own property so that you can be the one that is gaining equity, right? Gaining equity is probably one of the best, most powerful things that you can do. Hey, Lachelle, call me back after you get off work, okay? I'm teaching, okay? So that's probably one of the most powerful things that you can do, is put yourself in a position to gain that equity, all right? So everybody put in the comments right now, gaining equity, gaining equity, gaining equity. Okay, that's really, really important. Put gaining equity. You got to make it up in your mind. Now, this is the other thing that's going to happen. They're basically saying that within the next 5 years, that unless the parent buys the child, real estate, they probably will not be able to afford real estate. I mean, we can see that with all of our children. We've helped them purchase their homes, right? And have we not been there to help? I mean, I'm not saying that they couldn't have maybe gotten it another way, but for the most part, Ben and I shelled out cash with everybody buying their first property, right? And they needed that help for the down payment. They needed that help for the closing costs, because what's happening is real estate, even though we may experience pullbacks, overall the cost of real estate is going up significantly. So if you ask, one of the elders in your family and say, hey, how much did you pay for this house 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago, it's probably significantly less, right, than it is right now. And so what's happening is because most people's income is not really there. They're making just enough money to be able to pay the rent and not really be able to save so that they can buy their own home. Thank God we have grant programs, or you have things that give people, $25,000 down payment assistance, all kinds of new home owner incentives that they have. Thank God for those kinds of things, because honestly, the average American will just get caught in paying the bills of their rent and paying their utilities and paying all their other, expenses, especially if they have children. And so it doesn't give them a lot of money to be able to invest. So this is why I created Real in November 2023, because I wanted to create a community that allowed people to be able to come in here and get the credit that they need. That's the first thing that we do, is we help you to do a full credit analysis to see exactly where your credit is, make adjustments, make recommendations, maybe help you remove hard inquiries or old, credit creditors that are still on there that need to be removed off. We're going to come on and help you do all those things. That is so vitally important, that you get that help so that you can get into a place of ownership, not just for yourself, but eventually I want you to own other properties so that you are the landlord. Now, let me tell you this, for those of you that are first-time home buyers, opposed to just buying a single family or buying one, when I say a single family, that's just one door, I'm going to highly recommend that you get a duplex, or you get a 3, or you get a 4, right? So that you get 4 doors or 3 doors or 2 doors. Why? Because then that way you can go ahead and get a tenant on the other side so that you can start cash flowing that property. That's going to help you to offset your mortgage to get that tenant on the other side. That's so important. So I really want to encourage you to make sure that you put yourself in a position to be super smart. If you're not already in your home, right? And if you can do that, look for that duplex, look for that 3, or look for that 4 family, and rent out those other spaces. We can help you find a good mortgage broker that can help you broker that deal, right? Because one of the things a lot of times as lenders, they don't mind doing single families, but sometimes they can get a little bit funny if you don't have prior history, what they call a schedule of property. They can get a little bit funny with, giving you money for 2 doors, 3 doors, or 4 doors. But anything over 4 doors is considered commercial property. Anything under 4 door or under 5 doors is considered residential. So you should be able to get approved for residential. And again, if you're not already living in a single family home that you're in the process of purchasing, then I recommend that you do a duplex, a triplex, or a 4. All day, every day. Okay. You want to do that all day, every day so that you can start cash flowing, because this is the season now where you need to be actually not just spending, but investing. Okay. Can you put that in the comments? This is a season that you need to be investing. This is a season. This is what we call an investing season. This is not a season for you to just be laid back, chilling, watching a bunch of Netflix and doing a bunch of partying and all that. This is a season where you need to really focus in and figure out, what are my goals? What is it that I want in life? What is it that I want to have? Where do I want to go? How do I want to live? What do I want my quality of life to be like? And then be very intentional about investing. Can everybody put in the comments right now, this is a season to invest? Come on, put that right now. Put that, this is a season to invest. This is a season to invest, because those that are investing now, those that are not just thinking about spending, but actually investing, you're going to look up and you're going to be so glad that you did, because investors are always in a place where money is being multiplied back to them, right? So let's define that a little bit. Let's define that just a little bit, okay? And so when I spend money, if I go to the mall and buy some shoes, which I love to do. Make no mistake about it, child. Or go to the mall and buy some makeup, or go to the mall and buy some clothes, or whatever I'm buying, or get online and buy clothes and buy stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But I need to be very mindful that I'm not just spending, because once I spend the money, it has gone away from me, right? It's gone. I'm never going to see it again. It's gone. So when I pay the water bill here at our estate, I'm not going to ever see that again. I'll have running water, which is very important, but I'm not going to see it again. When I invest my money, please pay attention. When I invest my money, I'm putting myself in a position to not just see the money that I invested, but also the money multiplied. Okay? So I'm going to say that again. If I spend money, let's just say paid the electric bill, smart, right? Because we need lights. Thank you, Lord. I paid the electric bill. But when I paid that electric bill, okay, when I pay that, the exchange for that is lights, which is important. But I'm not going to see that money again unless I invest in an electric company. Okay, so how is it the wealthy get wealthier? Because they're not just looking to spend money, because they realize whatever they're spending, they're never going to see it again. Okay, they're never going to see it again. But if they invest the money, what's going to happen? They're going to see it again. And so that is the season that we are in, Keita. Yay. That's the season that we're in. We're in the season where you want to make sure that you're making calculated choices, that the choices that I make are putting me in a position to multiply my money. Can you put that in the comments right now? To multiply my money. So one of the things that we're going to be looking at right now is we're going to be looking at how do I multiply my money, right? And if you've been watching, we actually have access to grants, right? So we're going to help you two ways. We're going to help you, Ivory, to be able to get grant money. But even before we go there, because I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but we're going to help you to get the loans that you need to start the project. Then after that, we're going to move over and help you get grant money. I had a call with our grant specialist about 2 hours ago, and Maisha can tell you I was screaming. I started screaming, baby, because she had really good news, right? Because every door that you own, that's empty in Michigan, every door that you own with tenants in Michigan, anywhere in Michigan, you are eligible for $100,000 per door that you own that's empty. And you're also eligible for $40,000 per door that you have tenants in. And thank the Lord, over these last 2 years, I've been super, super focused in investing in real estate heavy, right? And so as a result, I've been blessed with quite a number of doors, right? So now I'm eligible for large sums of money in grants, right? And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that you get positioned to be able to, and I don't care, we'll start with one door, right? Well, we'll start with 2 doors. Let me see where Chris is actually, because Chris we're going to be doing, he actually has access to a lot of doors that already have tenants. Woo, woo. So now you have an opportunity to get cash flow. Okay. Hey, I see you on, but I don't see your face. Okay. So you're going to have an opportunity to make money from the cash flow from the tenant paying you every single month. Most of these are Section 8 or a VA. And then also you'll be able to go right back and actually apply for grant for that same property to fix the property up, to get it in tip-top shape. Okay. This is how you become wealthy. You become wealthy with real estate. Okay. Real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate. This is how you become wealthy. When you own real estate, because you're also gaining in equity and also price appreciation and rental increase. Every single year, you're going to be able to increase the amount of rent that you charge. My grandmother on my dad's side owned 10 properties in Savannah, Georgia. And every single month, those tenants were paying her money. Now, daddy is a phenomenal businessman, but really just didn't have the revelation on why he should keep the properties. So he sold them. For fun, I just went back and looked at that zip code. I didn't have the addresses, but I looked at what the zip codes would, in terms of what the asset, what the house would have been worth, and also what the average medium rental income is in that area. And let me tell you something, my dad would have kept those houses. Lord have mercy. Okay. And so, but you move according to the revelation that you have. So it is what it is. But now I have the revelation. And so now this is very, very important. Somebody called me yesterday and said, are you interested in selling anything that you have? And I said, absolutely not. Why? Because that's cash flow. That's cash flow coming in. I'm interested in buying, but I'm not interested in selling. Okay. For the most part. Okay. If the deal is right and the numbers are right. Okay. But what am I saying? Overall, as an investor, you want to be thinking, hold on to the property. Now, if you decide to liquidate, you decide to sell, you should always have in mind, okay, I'm going to take this amount to multiply it. So if you do sell, it should always be with revelation of, okay, what's next? I'm not selling it to just have, a couple $100,000 sitting in my account or a couple $1 million sitting in my account. I'm not doing that. I'm selling it with purpose. I'm selling it with direction. I'm selling it with intention, right? You always got to make sure that you have intention. If you sell something, you need to have intention. Why am I selling this? Where is this money going? What am I intending to do? Because one thing that I've learned about real estate is it's always going to continue to be increasing, and particularly if you're buying in the right city. Okay. That's really, really, really important for you to understand that. Okay. All right. Now I'm just checking on Chris right now because I wanted to go over some specific deals with you guys to show you. No, I didn't. Yes. I don't see your picture.
Hold on, let me hang up.
Yeah. Oh, he's got to connect his mic and cam. Let's see. All right. Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
I just can't. Can you see me though? You can't see me, and it says locked for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Okay, so let's see here. Edit my.
It says everyone can see and hear you.
Yeah, I hear you for sure. I just don't see you. Yeah, I don't see you. Okay, do you see a place that will let you hit video?
Yeah. Okay. That's the stop the cam. I'm clicking on it, and it either has a camera or it has a slash through the camera.
Okay, so when you click on the camera,
a phone and a lock.
Okay, are you using you're not using FaceTime or anything right now, right?
I'm using StreamYard with the link you sent me.
Okay, close it out and come back in. Are you on your computer?
Yep. Okay, close it out.
Close it out and then come back in. Okay, yeah, because I don't know what that's about, Chad. Okay, cool. All right, so anyway, what Chris is about to do now is go over some actual live opportunities with tenants in them, which is the best possible. That's the thing that you want, hands down. You want tenants paying when you can buy an asset that is already performing. It's like buying a business that's already cash flowing. That's the best possible place that you can do because you already know the plumbing is working. You know the electrical is working. Okay, now it's working. Good job, Aisha. Good
Okay.
call, girl. All right, we got you. We got you.
Okay.
All right, how we doing today?
We are doing fantastic.
Okay, good. You have a lot of properties right now. We're going to look at a few that are already cash flowing, which is pretty amazing. I'm super excited about that because that you want an asset that's performing. You want an asset that the tenant is already paying because now when you buy the asset, all you're pretty much doing, you can either make a decision to collect the rent yourself and maintain the property, which I don't recommend. See who they're using as a property manager. If you like them, you can continue with them. All they're doing is moving the money from their routing and account number to your routing and account number, and let property management, manager handle all the things, which is what I recommend doing. But this is what Chris has today, and the cap rate has a lot to do with you being able to build your wealth. So, Chris, tell us what you got, brother.
Okay, so I might have went over these before and the person couldn't perform, so I'm going to do a rehash. I have two properties on Pelkey Street. They are already cash flowing at $850 a piece. The price is $60,000 and $62,000.
Okay, so let's write that down. 60. Are you going to show it today or you want me to show it?
You can show it.
All right, cool. All right, hold on one second. All right, sweet. Let's get this up. Okay, and what street is it again?
19310 Pelkey.
Okay.
Pelkey.
All right, bets. Cool. All right, I'm pulling it up. Let's see. Okay, that one just showed me land. Let's see if I can get a picture.
See if I have one. I might have one.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so this is what this looks like. Okay, so just from these couple of houses here on the corner, it looks like it's a brick neighborhood. I would kind of assume that it might be a homeowner neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's look at the numbers there.
Okay, so again, this property, there's a tenant already in it. They're paying $850, which is below market value, just so everybody knows. But we'll go over the current rent and then we'll look at the market value rent because those are two different separate numbers. Okay. So at $850 a month, that is a grand total per year of $10,200 that you would be grossing.
$10,200. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Now remember, guys, when we're looking at these numbers, why is this so phenomenal? Because this is passive income. This is what you call true passive income. You didn't work for it. All you're doing is letting a property manager handle it, and now you got $10,200. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so $10,200. That is our gross. Now let's start to look at our expenses for this property, which is our taxes. Let's start with that. The taxes for this property is $1,136.
Okay.
I always got to pay our taxes. You know that, death and taxes, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. The next expense we have is insurance. We got to keep our insurance tight on it. So the insurance is going to average, let's say, $75 a month, which equals out to $900 a month annually.
Okay.
Okay. And then if we're looking at our property management fees annually, it's 10% typically. unless you work something out. We'll just go off of that number. The annual property management fee is $1,020.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's take all those numbers and add them up. Remember, we got $1,136 for our taxes.
Okay.
We got $900 for our insurance.
Okay.
And then we have $1,020 for our property management fee.
Okay.
Okay. So that comes out to $3,056.
Okay.
Everybody have that?
All right.
$3,056. Okay. So what we do then is we take that number and subtract that from our gross. Remember, our gross was $10,200.
Okay.
That's our gross. So if we take our gross, $10,200 minus our annual expenses, which
Okay.
total to $3,056.
All right.
That should leave us a net of $7,144.
Okay.
Okay. So we have that number. Now, what we do in order for you to figure out your cap rate, you take that number that you're left with and you divide that by your purchase price.
Okay. And purchase price
is $60,000.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so let's review real quick because this is important in doing your deal evaluations for those of you that want to start investing or those of you that are already investing. This is how you really build your wealth portfolio. So Chris told us what you do is you're looking at all the expenses. You look at what the rental income is. Right now they're getting $850 a month, but they really could be getting more than that, right, Chris?
Definitely.
Yeah. So what could they be getting?
The actual market rent is $1,300 a month.
Oh, wow. So that's a significant increase that they could be getting. Okay.
Yes.
But if you just take it as is, 850 times 12, your taxes 1136, your insurance 900, property management fee for the year 1,020, add up those expenses 3,056. You added the 850 times 12, which gives you the $10,200. We subtracted the gross rental income from the expenses, which gave us $7,144. Then we're going to take that and divide it by the purchase price, which is $60,000.
And that gives us a cap rate of 11.9.
Oh, that's good.
It is. Anything, let everybody know, anything in double digits, you're doing well. I just had an appointment with a huge investor earlier this morning. Joe, I think I texted you when you were calling me. And I was asking him what he was looking for. We were looking at a 56-unit apartment building. And he said, Chris, for me, I said, what's your cap rate? He said, as long as it's in the double digits, I'm good. He's a multi-millionaire. So,
yeah.
He said, as long as it's in the double digits, I'm winning. Now, let's do something different. One little swerve here. Now, let's say, for instance, we decide, okay, we're going to go in there, put a kiss on it, and we're going to put a market renter in there. Everything stays the same. The only difference is now that annual number changes from $10,200 at $850 a month to $15,600 at $1,300 a month.
Whoop! That's what I wanted to do, brother. You already know.
Okay. So now let's take that same number with our expenses, right? So let's take that $15,600 gross. Now that's our market rent. That's what we should be getting now. So let's take that number and let's subtract our expenses again, which is $3,056. And what do you come up with?
12,544.
All right, 12,544. Now let's take that number and divide it by the 60,000. Now what's your cap rate?
So now my cap rate is 20%.
Where are you going to get that from?
20.9.
You're never going. Where are you going to get that from? Now let's do this. Because that we're asking for more rent, let's just make assumptions. You always want to the unexpected things that can happen or whatever. You want to have contingencies in place. So if we're gonna say that person they're on a month to month, what they are, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna be fair, but I'm not. I'm gonna end your lease in May or June. Then you're gonna go in there and you're gonna fix it up. Well, what do? You got to paint it, get new carpet, make repairs. So let's say instead of that number, what was that number again, Jewel? After the expenses, 12,000 what?
12,544.
12,544. So now instead, let's take that 12,544 and let's say that we got to spend $5,000. Let's just use that round number to go in there and spruce it up because we're getting ready to put a tenant in there for $1,300. We got to do our carpet, our paint, make some repairs, and it might be a little less, it might be a little bit more, but let's just play with it. So instead now, let's take that $12,544, right? Mm-hmm. And now let's divide that by 65,000.
Okay.
Your cap rate didn't barely move. You're still at 19.2%.
Listen.
And I said, you might spend a little more. Let's say, well, I thought it was going to be $5,000. Your contractor said, no, it's gonna be $8,000 to get this thing the way you want it to, because I got to go in there and I got to replace the toilet, the sink, do some plumbing, whatever they may have to do, right? So again, just playing with the numbers. Let's take that net and let's say it's 68,000.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're still at 18.4.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way it goes.
You're at $8,000. You took that in consideration. You went in there, you painted, you got new flooring. You might have put a kiss on the kitchen. You might have got a new furnace, a hot water tank if it's getting ready to go or it didn't look good. Whatever you had to do, inside and out. We just gave you $8,000 to play with, but your cap is still 18.4. You're not going to get there. I challenge anybody to go on Google and tell me if a CD, a Roth IRA, a mutual fund is going to give you that type of return.
Yeah, it's definitely not. And I think, and this is why when you look at the wealthy, most of them have so much real estate in their portfolio, because even when you compare it up against the stock market, it's a whole lot more stable, right? Because even when we have pullbacks and corrections, real estate still is just the strongest asset class out of all the asset classes. So again, you got to think about this. If you're getting 20% a year, you're not working for it. This is passive income. And this is how a lot of times, Chris, people become full-time investors, because they're looking for the next 20%, the next 20%, the next, you just keep going because you're like, wait, hold on.
And then you look up and you say to yourself, well, wait a minute, I've accumulated 10 doors, 12 doors. Shoot, I might as well. Either you're going to say, this is my nest egg, or this is really getting good to me. I'm going to do this full time. And you might leave your job because you might see the potential. But guess what? On top of one thing you can't do with those other instruments, the CDs, Roth IRAs, you can't leverage those. As you mentioned earlier, Jewel, the bank looks at that. So if you have a portfolio, 8, 10, 12, 15 doors, and you want to go get some money to get something else, you might want to step off a commercial. Like, I'm ready for an apartment building. Yeah. Guess what? The banks are going to be more susceptible to open those purse strings because you have assets out there that's cash flowing. But you can't do that with a CD. Can't do that with a Roth IRA. Not the way you can do it with real estate.
Yeah. Because you're right. That's one of the number one things. So when I talk to people like, hey, I want an apartment building, I'm like, okay, that's great. But let's get you a couple single families or duplexes first, because the lender is not going to want to just take you straight to an apartment building. That's not how that works. You got to start here. But these are still great to have in your portfolio, even though I'm at a place where I just want multifamilies, right? But I still not going to sleep on a single family if I got a great, deal. I still kept a couple single families in my portfolio, just if nothing else for the access to the equity all by itself. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, let's look at another one.
Okay. So I have another one right down the street, but guess what? It's going to be the same numbers, same situation. We don't even have to go through it. The only difference in the taxes is like $30. It's still collecting $850. So everything's the same. So that's another, but that address, just so everybody knows, is 20227 Pelkey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But let's go. I'm going to do one more here. I'm going to do one on, we have one on Westphalia, 19946 Westphalia.
Fielding or Felton?
Westphalia.
Oh, can you spell that?
WEST
Right.
PHALIA. Westphalia.
Oh, okay. Is that the east side?
That is the east side. Yes, correct.
Okay.
So the only picture I have right now handy to me on Google Maps, it was snow on the ground.
Yeah, I'm about to.
I just actually, let me see. Now again, I'm doing this one from scratch. The medium.
Wait, give me that address one more time.
Sure. 19946 Westphalia. Westphalia is spelled WESTPHALIA.
Okay. Thanks. Okay.
Okay. And that one too, but this one is vacant. The price on this one is $56,000.
Okay.
Let me look up the taxes. We're doing this one in real time.
All
Let's
right.
see here.
And some of those houses there look like they're a vinyl frame. Don't be afraid to do a frame house.
No.
Not be afraid.
People sleep on those. People think brick. I know brick looks good and it's sexy and all that type of stuff, but a lot of times you can get good deals on frames, sometimes at a lower cost than brick. But guess what? The rent's still going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
The rent is still going to be the same because they go by the area and the median rent in that area, be it Section 8 or whatever have you. So in this one, the platform that I use, the market rent is $1,300.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right.
So, and the taxes on this particular property, let me find it.
Okay.
Okay. For Westphalia, the taxes are approximately summer and winter $1,241, and if you want to be technical, 53 cents. All right. So let's do our formula again. If we rented at $1,300, as we know, our gross rent before any expenses again is $15,600.
Okay.
We know, as I just told you all, the taxes are $1,241.
Okay.
Let's take our round number again and let's look at our insurance, which again, around $75 a month times 12. That gives us $900.
Okay.
And then we'll look at our PM fee again.
Okay.
Our property management fee would be around the same thing, about $1,500 annually.
Okay.
All right. So now let's add those numbers up.
Okay.
$1,241 taxes plus $900 insurance plus $1,500 for property management. What do you come up with?
I got 3141.
3141.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now let's subtract that from our 15, our 1,000. I mean our $15,600. What do we got?
That is 12,459.
12,459. So, and this one, what did we say the cost on this one was? 56,000, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, if I'm correct, let me make sure because I want to be as full transparency here. This one, let me see if there is anything for us to do on this one. I would say you might have to go in and spend maybe $5,000 to $8,000. Let's just use that again. Okay. Worst case scenario, let's say 8,000.
Okay.
Okay. Because those people just moved out. Now, how does that change the number? So we were at 56,000.
Mm-hmm.
Let's add another 8,000. That puts us at 64,000.
Okay.
So now what is that cap rate?
So that cap rate will be 15,600 divided by
64,000.
64,000. That bad boy is still 24%. I got 24%. Is that right? Wait a minute. Oh, no. I'm looking at the wrong number. 12,459. My bad. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
12,459 divided by 64,000. 19.4%. Still amazing.
Let me be clear to everybody. Every time it's not going to be that high. Don't get caught up and be so focused and say, well, I ain't doing nothing. It ain't at least 16, 17. Don't do that. This just happens to be what it is. And I'm actually just presenting that, to the community. But sometimes it might be 10, it might be 11. That's okay. That's okay. But just know I'm giving you examples of what I have in front of me right now that you can reach out and purchase right now. But all of them aren't going to be that way. So don't get so stuck. It's okay. The banks still look at it and say, hey, okay, they're getting 11%. They're getting 11.7. They're getting 12.2. That's still all good. All of them aren't going to be home runs like this one because you're definitely playing with house money, no pun intended. So even if the cap rates are lower, you're still doing well. As the millionaire told me this morning, Chris, I'm good as long as I'm in double digits. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. A billionaire told me this about 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. I never forget this conversation. He's a billionaire because we were talking and he said that he had to meet later that afternoon. He was flying out and he was going to meet Zuckerberg. True story. Mm. So we were in my office in Southfield and we're talking. He was trying to do business with my brokerage. And, I sent him a couple examples. And at that time, it was around 2012, 13, something like that. So the prices were pretty good. So I sent him something similar as we're doing this. Do you know what he told me? He looked at that and he shook his head. He said, no, I don't. He said, Chris, take my advice. People of wealth will look at that and reject it. And I said, why? He said, because to us, anything that's getting that much of a return, it's got to be something that's unrealistic. And I said, no, this is what he said. No, I believe you, but I'm just giving you a lesson learned. People of wealth, they're going to look at that because they're not going to believe that an asset can produce that much of a return. And that always stuck with me. He said, I believe your numbers because we're looking right at it right here and now. So I'm saying all that to say the wealthy look at it, conservative numbers do them just fine. Ones that are like this, it scares them. They're like, because there's no way, because they play slow and steady, right? So they look at this like there must be a trick. You're not being on. I'm not even going to, one of those, it sounds too good to be true, probably is, and I'm not pressed, so I'm going to go over here. So what I started doing was, if the numbers were 15, 16, 17, I dumb the numbers down to 12 or 13 to get in that comfort zone with them. And then, they would say, okay. So
Good.
it's just a story to tell you that, yeah, the numbers are realistic. They are what they are. But those people who are very well to do, they look at that and they say, wow, that's just too good to be true. There must be a trick to it. So they're more conservative. To my point of 10, 11, 12% is still an excellent, excellent return. This just so happens to be a home run hit. So,
yeah, this is a big home run because you're almost at 12%. So, we were saying property management is about 10% of your rent per month. So it's like $1,000. In this scenario, it was $1,500 for the whole year, not the month, honey. The whole
now,
year.
Something that we didn't do that maybe we should do with this one here. People probably want to know, well, how much would I net per month, right? So let's see if we can go over that. Let's look at that number. Let's see if we can do something with that. So, okay, $1,300 a month. And our taxes were due. I'm sorry, do you have that written down for this particular property?
Yeah, the taxes are $1,241.
Okay, so let's take $1,241 and divide it by 12.
Okay.
What do you come up with?
1,241 divided by 12 is 103.41.
Okay. Let's just say $104. Okay. So that's our taxes per month. Now let's take that $75 for our insurance. And even though you might not like it, we're going to take $130 deducted for our property management fee. Right? So when you add all those numbers up, I got 309. Now, to be on the safe side, let's take $100 for incidentals.
Okay.
Let's say a window breaks, a door, you get a hole in the wall. We got to send somebody over to snake. Okay. So let's say it's 409.
Okay.
So now, why don't you subtract 409 from 1,300 a month?
Okay.
What'd
so
you come up with?
1,300 minus 409 is 891.
If I had a mic, I would drop it because that's what you're going to net per month.
Yeah. That's
and
huge.
I gave you extra $100 for incidental. So we're tagging that on. So that's an extra $1,200 in case you always want to have a cushion. As a property manager, I always say, give me $250 to put over an escrow in case something happens. If it's beyond $250, then you and I need to have a phone call because, hey, Jewel, I got to put in a furnace and a hot water tank. That's going to run us around $1,900. What do you want to do? Anything under $250, I'll take care of it. You'll receive your invoice at the end of the month. Oh, I had to repair this. Oh, we had to snake it out. We had to repair the sink, or we had to repair the faucet or the diverter or whatever have you. So again, I just wanted to give people what that looks like annually and what that looks like monthly.
So good, Chris. So monthly sentiment, it's $891 per month that you're making on this one property. Remember, this is real passive income. This is how you become wealthy. This is where my focus is. And somebody called me yesterday and tried to give me another opportunity. And I said, I'm so focused on real estate. I said, because once you taste it and you see, I'm not saying it's easy. We're not going to sit here and say it's easy because we got stories for us and other people. But the other side of it is so doggone rewarding and profitable because here's the thing, you can't run from challenges. Sometimes people are like, I just didn't know it's going to be this kind of problem. Any kind of success comes with problems. So don't fool yourself thinking you're going to find something that everything is perfect. That's just not true. From the contractor to the title company, to the realtor, to me, to you, there's nothing perfect. So what you have to say is, how do I really build wealth for my family, for myself? And real estate is it. So Chris, thanks for jumping on here. I appreciate it. Listen, for those of you that are on here right now and are ready to get started, ready to get involved, you're like, listen, I want in on this. I want you to shoot an email to info@reataifynow.com. Shoot an email right now to info@reataifynow.com. We have an entire community. Chris is in that community and a lot of other dope people that really know what they're doing. So we can help you start building this portfolio, because we're about to wrap up the first quarter of 2025. So I'm not playing with it. Chris not playing with it. Obviously, if you're on here on this Lunch and Learn today, you're not playing with it. So go ahead and send that email for those that are interested in joining the community and getting started in the wonderful world of investing. Chris, any last words before we wrap today?
Get started. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Y'all see how we living out here. You see what's happening. Take advantage of it while you can, because it's not going to stay attainable forever. And I mean that we only got a certain pocket of time before we have to, swerve to something else. But while the getting's good and she's blessing us with this grant situation, I mean, come on, y'all. Free money. Get on it.
Man, get on it.
I got my call lined up, so hey.
Listen, period. All right, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for jumping on today. You guys have a good one. Bye.
Have a good one.